Hello, everyone. I just want to give the quick, annoying beginning intro podcast housekeeping notes. Please make sure you follow us on our Facebook. We normally will post our games on there. Please go on our Facebook and tell us your reviews of the games we are playing. You can follow us on our Twitter at GBGBpod. So please make sure you go out there because we have a couple reviews at the end of this episode. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games from the Game Pass collection, bringing you 3 unique perspectives from varying skill range. I am the curator of the Art Museum, Andrew. With me, the museum's janitor, Keith.
Hello.
And our fart dealer, Liz.
Hey, guys.
And this week, we played The Procession to Calvary by Joe Richardson. The Procession to Calvary is a 2D point-and-click adventure game where you are playing a knight who essentially is trying to fulfill a holy mission by murdering Holy Peter. Was that his name, Holy Peter?
I think so.
Some
we should
dude.
probably look this up. It's a 2-hour game. We should probably have the names right.
I'll just call him some dude. But going
Okay.
around, Liz, was this a game or pass for you?
For me, it was a game. I really liked the art style. I thought it was funny. I love a good fart joke. I love fart humor. And yeah, I mean, it's short and sweet. It didn't overstay its welcome. And yeah, game.
Yeah, I don't have anything to disagree with there. I loved this. I thought it was awesome. It was super short. There's certain things I kind of wish I had more of, but at the same time, it was just perfect in terms of time, and it made me laugh the entire time. So I'm always a big fan of playing a game and being able to have a good laugh at the same time. Definitely a game for me.
So for me, I'm not a big point-and-click adventure person. Like, I remember seeing the trailer for this, and I remember the first thing seeing, like, this game is very striking. It looks interesting. Then I saw it was a point-and-click adventure game, and I was like, oh. But then Keith is actually the one who was playing it, and I just kept hearing him cracking up, and I was like, I got to check this game out. And the humor carried me through. There was a couple of moments I kind of got a little stuck, get into it, but the humor in this game is so childish, but awesome. So this is a game for me. I had a lot of fun with it. So the Procession to Calvary, like I said, you were playing this knight who, right at the beginning, the Holy War ends, and you are given a strict rule of no killing. But your character just loves killing. And so she's very upset that she can no longer kill. But then she learns that the enemy's leader got away. And so you take it upon yourself to have a holy mission to finish off the enemy leader. So the story, that is the overall story, but I loved the story of Procession to Calvary. It's very goofy, and it was just the dialogue to me I just absolutely loved.
Oh yeah, this is, and maybe because it was only an hour and a half, 2.5 hours long, whatever it is, I thought the storyline was just, it cracked me up the whole way. All your little side missions, everything you have to do, the dialogue that came along with it, and there's no, I don't know, there's just no point where I was like, this is just too much. I get it. You're trying to do a thing. It was always something just slightly differently funny in so many different ways that I just always found myself laughing and enjoying myself.
I really like the story, but the morality aspects I thought were really interesting. So, for instance, sometimes he says something about like, oh, I don't want to kick a man while he's down or something along those lines, but you'll kill people. Like, listen, if it comes between killing me or kicking me, definitely kick me. It's fine. It's like same with you can kill a man on crutches, but this guy who thinks he's on death's door because his hair is too long, no, you can't touch him. He's having a bad day. Like, what? I know I'm thinking too much into it.
You definitely are.
But
I was gonna say it's chivalry, She's coming out of this holy war. The whole opening scene, it's her running around hacking people's heads off during a war. They're enemies. They're not people, kicking them while they're down. She likes to murder enemies.
But it's definitely how you play your character, because yes, she says things like that, like, oh, I don't want to kick someone while they're down. But if you start going on a murdering spree, she goes ham in that murdering spree. She will murder anyone and everyone. So that guy you probably couldn't kick down. If you started a murdering spree, I could guarantee she probably would have killed that guy.
well, plus the guy on the crutches, that's not an enemy, right?
No, but
they're all
murder's
there
fun.
together.
But murder's fun
What
in
I
this
mean,
game.
it's weird that there's certain people that you can't kill, And that's why, so there's a moment when you're with like a mother and a baby, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to try to kill you guys.
Oh, I did not try that either.
Yeah, I didn't try that either. And then later on, there was that, what was it, like a baby lion type thing? And I was like, nope, I'm going to pet you. And it let me pet him.
I tried killing that lion because I really wanted to see
And
what it did.
what happened, Andrew?
So, already starting off with a little tip here. Make sure you save your game if you try to murder the lion. If you try to murder the lion,
for that matter.
That is true. But specifically, if you try to murder the lion, your character straight up quits. She goes, "What kind of monster are you? Even I would not do this." And she sits on the ground and says, "I'm not even going to make you lose. You have to purposely load your game. So if you did not save, you have to start back pretty good."
You're probably on like an FBI list. They probably
wanted to kill a lion?
No, they probably teamed up with the FBI because sociopaths start off by killing animals, right? That's what they say in TV and movies. So they're like, "Oh, this person wanted to kill this animal." You're on a list, man. You're being watched.
So, games like, Grand Theft Auto where you're literally murdering civilians and cops, you're okay with that. But God forbid you try to murder a lion, you're on an FBI list.
Most people are at least partially evil. Animals are just pure, innocent, beautiful creatures.
I'm not murdering a real lion. I was just screwing around in a game.
It's just
You're
a
getting
tiny
very
painted
defensive.
lion.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a good looking lion.
No, it was a
Wow.
weird Renaissance painting lion.
Yeah. So anyway, so for me, the story to me in this game is just really funny. Because like I said, I was like talking to you, Keith, and I just hear you constantly giggling and like just saying these remarks. And I'm like, this game just sounds so weird. I will say, like, I think the dialogue is so good, but there are moments I do actually kind of wish there was voice acting.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good effect. So, I do and I don't wish there was voice acting because voice acting can make or break a game. We've talked about it on
that's a good
many
point.
other games, and so just not having it doesn't have the ability to ruin what could have been an otherwise perfect game. I think the only thing for voice
perfect
acting,
game.
well, I don't know, maybe that's, but at least it didn't ruin it in any ways, is what I'm saying, is the fact that the only voice actor I can honestly think, and I don't know if who does it or if they're still alive, this whole game gives me a lot of Monty Python feels, specifically Quest for the Holy Grail. That's the one I'm really familiar with, to be honest. But I just had this whole Monty Python feel from the humor aspect to it, to the animation, all of that the sequences where like God comes down, if they could have incorporated the voice of God from Quest for the Holy Grail, whoever that was, if he's still alive, like the big booming voice.
I thought they normally. Oh no, they did have a voice. I remember most of them times they normally just did like noises, like kind of like these weird noises to kind of add an effect. And some of them, I do remember there did have like a God voice when they was like talking to some of the characters. But I remember most of the times it was just sound effects, and I actually would have enjoyed like goofy sound effects.
But
yeah.
I mean, you look at the moment where, so they actually like make fun of Christianity a little bit, and when you go to that area where Jesus is, although I don't know if it's actually supposed to be Jesus.
I think so, but they keep calling him a magician.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The screaming from those people like being tortured, I was just like,
oh yeah.
That's why
could've
for me,
done
I'm
with
just
that.
like, do I want voice acting? Are they gonna hire those people?
That I did not think about. That actually is a very odd, like, development choice. The
What, for the screaming?
This game is 90% silent, but then you have this one area where it's just people nonstop screaming.
I hated it.
I mean, I guess it kind of fit, but in a way it was very uncomfortable. And yeah, it was a bit annoying if you were there in that area too long. So I wouldn't stick around there very long. But other than that, yeah, I think it was perfectly fine to just do this without voice acting.
But speaking of story, though, so there is 3 endings to this game. Liz, what ending did you get first?
Oh, I got the I don't know what it is. I just started.
You got the crucifixion ending.
Yeah,
You
and
murdered
the
too
screaming,
many.
the screaming at the end of that was so annoying. You had to keep
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it to roll the credits. It was awful.
That clearly was meant to be a
Andrew is the
punishment.
one that he has like a. I don't want to say like a sensitivity to noises, but he gets really irritated with repetition and annoying noises.
Yeah, like your
And
voice.
Even yeah, exactly.
Joking.
And even I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But yeah, so that was just like the way that I started playing the game. I was just like, oh, let's just make this easy and kill people, and it didn't work for me.
I do think it's funny.
Real quick way to beat the game. You must
Yeah,
be pretty
Liz
proud of
said
yourself.
that. She's like, how long is this game? She's like, because I already got the end credits. She's like, did I beat it? I'm like, what did you do? She's like, I murdered a lot of people.
I think the funny thing is I don't even know that I tried until
I
like
didn't.
at some point I was like, oh, I guess I can murder people.
Yeah, I didn't do it until I saw there was an achievement for it. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll go this route. No, that was Liz's first instinct.
The
Yeah,
guy
you called
wouldn't take me across the water, and I was like, I'll just take your boat, dude. And it
You called
works.
me a sociopath.
Which it's so weird, like, so you like cut him in half, and then like his legs are still standing as you're going across the water, and nobody like runs over and is like, oh my gosh, you're a murderer. Nope.
Oh, I think we should maybe give a slight disclaimer to people. You may not want to play this game if you're underage. There is some nudity. Granted, this is like artwork nudity, but there is some, and the violence is a little bit hyper violent.
Yeah.
So just a slight disclaimer.
I don't
Just-
really like gore. There's some ways that you kill people, and then you
Yeah.
take a guy that's on like a rolly thing, you attach him to a cart, and yeah, it's a little gross.
Yeah, I mean it's also in a humorous way, but yeah, it's just a slight disclaimer.
Oh, speaking of humor, I love the guys at the gates.
Oh, the giant keys.
Yes! Oh my
Look at
God.
his key.
Those
Look
are
at
my
my
favorite
giant key.
characters.
So, I mean, are you guys really much into art at all?
Not really. I feel like there was definitely pieces that I was like, I recognize those things like because they use enough famous paintings.
Yeah.
But all in all, I wasn't like, oh, cool, an art game, because that wasn't my draw to it. It just looked weird, and that was my
Yeah.
draw to it. And yeah, it was. I liked the way that they did it, though, or he did it, I guess, Mr. Richardson, sir.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed the arts. I've got a handful of art museums with Liz, like, and so for me, like, that was the first thing that drew me was the art style of this, and I was like, oh, sweet, yeah, because like you, Keith, I recognize some of this artwork. I just love that this game. People who know kind of Renaissance painting, it varies from really good to really like insane. And this game just like embraces it and just like makes fun of it, and that's what I just loved was just the humor of just clearly making fun of just some of these ridiculous paintings.
No, that's a good point because it's the fact that like, well, there's things that are like backdrops that are distinct for a painting. The way they took and like pulled different paintings into each other to make these bizarre looking scenes with like normal looking people, but then a tiny little lion hanging out with the cardinals. Like it was really just kind of a funny design choice, and it made, I don't know, it made it so much more interesting.
I really like that, like, whoever created this game, wrote this game, they created these stories with the paintings. So I'm thinking about that room with the family in it, and the middle guy is just like, I'm out of the will. I'm just like, he's just there doing drugs. and I was just like, this guy thought of this. And like, same with like a bunch of other stuff too. But I was just like, it must have been so much fun to look at these paintings and just create your own stories with them. Because I doubt very much that this, like, the little thing under the painting said that middle guy doing drugs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I think is funny, because like usually you go to art museums, you see people just stare at these, they're so pretentious, coming up with these dumb phrases where it's like, you don't know what's going on in this painting. And that's what I just love, is that these people clearly just interpreted these buck-wild stories of these people. Like,
I mean, I'm fairly certain it was literally just one guy. Like in the dialogue, he even like refers to himself as like, "Oh, I couldn't figure out this, so I did that." I think he may have had a studio to help him produce it, but I think he wrote and designed this game. Like one guy.
yeah, because it was a Kickstarter game as well, which is also funny because they make a joke about that.
No, that was one of my favorite things that I found early on was I guess it's early on. It really depends on how quickly you go through the game, but they have this museum, and I think this is maybe what you were talking about, Liz, but like all of the artworks are captioned with basically his own crappy description of whatever the painting is, and it's not the actual name of it. But then there's this secret
A group of
room.
guys having an argy-bargy.
Yeah.
I love those phrases.
And then on top of that, there's this kind of secret back room. You go in, and there's this guard, stopping you, like, "Hey, you don't want to go in there. It's just a bunch of crappy paintings, a bunch of dumb people who paid too much money." And all it is the people who paid for like the Kickstarter rewards. And I think that's funny. I would assume they knew in advance they were gonna be mocked, but the fact that he just like, it was just making fun of them for like, yeah, they just dump more money than they know what to do with.
Yeah, and they kind of gave him like bad paintings of them, but they're like in the game. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. This game actually makes fun of their backers who backed him with the most money.
Which I don't normally like. What is it called? Like the fourth wall breaking. I normally don't like that in games. For this, I think it was funny enough for me.
Yeah,
I normally hate it.
They only do it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about what was that game that we played that had the clown and there were it was
You
like
say this
Twin
every
Peaks.
time, and you forget it every time. Thimbleweed Park.
Thimbleweed
the
Park.
Only time we did a point-and-click adventure game.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a point and click
Yeah,
adventure.
it's the same style as this. Yeah.
I thought
But
we
it
did
was-
one other point and click too. But anyways,
But I was more going to the point that they did the fourth wall breaking, not that they were
at the
point and
end of
click.
it. Yeah.
And so, for me, like I really hated it in that game. If I recall, like I
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
terrible
you
memory.
hated that game literally just because the ending.
Well, no, I did like the game up until that point. Like I thought I don't know. I just hated that part of it. And this game, I think, did it okay.
so it wasn't the point; it was the click that you hated.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the main character in this, I want to know more about her because first of all, it doesn't look like her to me.
Yeah. Most of
And
the time, I was like, wait,
I don't know
a
if I'm
girl?
allowed to say that, but it definitely the entire time I'm like, why is this dude doing this? And then you kept saying, Liz, it's not a dude. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, they kept saying lady. Yeah, I kept thinking I was a guy too. But
And,
then
like,
the
there's
crucifixion
something-
scene, you're naked, so you can see you're kind of a lady.
Yeah. Well, before I got to that point, but there's something about her eyes that, especially when she's like prancing around, they like freak me out. Like these just like cold, beady, dead eyes.
She
Wasn't
loves
that
to
one of those
murder.
like kind of weird things though? Like back in the Renaissance times, like they would have basically used a man for everything. So they were probably painting a man as a woman. I don't know. I know that like Shakespeare plays and stuff. It was
In
like
theater,
all men.
yeah.
So I don't know
they
if it was
did
like
have
art
female
was
actors,
similar.
yeah.
So maybe they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna draw this guy and kind of give him some female characteristics, and it's gonna be confusing. But no, I think I actually would like to know what the painting's from because I feel like with the amount of
Well, you can see it in the museum in the game.
but like the actual painting, like what the real painting is, who actually created it in real life, not his goofy name for it.
Well, yeah, he gets a goofy name of it, but that's one thing I liked about this. When you go to the museum, it shows the real paintings that this
Yeah.
game uses.
So
No,
who
I
is
know.
she?
But I'm just saying, like, I'm curious what the actual painting is because I wonder if there's like a reason he picked that painting in particular as to like why she's the main character. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know who she is, but I don't want to say because I don't want to sound dumb.
Is it
But
Joan of Arc? Is what you're thinking?
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know.
I don't either.
Joe,
And
I
honestly,
don't
I
think
didn't.
it is.
Who?
I
What
didn't
other
think it
woman
was
went into
until you said-
battle?
That's actually a really good
super
point.
early on?
Now I
'Cause
want
that-
to see if I can.
Yeah.
I feel
mean,
like
I
that's a
don't
really
even-
good point, Liz.
I didn't want to sound dumb because I don't really know much about Joan of Arc. Our school systems, you know? Or I guess I should say my school system.
No, none of the ones that I'm seeing coming up here. Never mind.
Yeah, I looked it up and I didn't see any pictures like that of her.
So my quick Google skills figured out that it is a Bologna painted by Rembrandt. And it doesn't really seem like it's anyone in particular, but it is supposed to be like a Dutch female warrior. When you actually see the painting up close, you definitely can tell it's a female.
Yeah,
It looks
it's
more female when you see it up close. But yeah, in the game, it definitely does not look like... It's pretty hard to determine you're female.
Oh, it's Rembrandt's sober and powerful depiction of Bellona, the Roman goddess of war. So maybe that's why she likes to murder so much.
Oh, she's supposed to be that Bologna? Say I know that one from Smite.
Okay, that makes sense.
Also, I just looked up Joan of Arc is like 200 years earlier.
I was also going to say...
I thought it was too early too, but I also...
But that didn't mean Rembrandt paintings couldn't have like done paintings of her 200 years later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Anyways, the Bellona thing makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, why she enjoys murder and war and why she wants to keep going.
Yep. Told you it mattered.
But as far as the gameplay goes, so as we said, it's a point-and-click adventure game. But Keith, you made like the same point where like you were not getting sick of the story and stuff. I fully agree. For me, I wanted more. This is one thing I loved about the Procession of Calvary is you can actually hold the Y button and it actually showed you all the things you can interact with. So normally when you play a point-and-click adventure game, you have like 10 actions you can do. In this game, you have 3, kind of 4. I made sure I did every single one of those actions at every single point. I just wanted all the dialogue because like I always loved the humor in the story that was happening. So this is the first time in a point-click adventure game I was like, I want to do everything.
When you told me about the Y button, it was a game changer because I was so frustrated that I couldn't find the scissors.
And I did tell you how to.
Googled
It did tell you that in the tutorial that
What?
you can hold Y.
Do you know what? I don't need you to.
I'm
blame
pretty
me.
sure.
I know that it was my fault.
No, Liz, I think I'm actually I don't think I knew that until actually right now.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I actually looked up the scissors and I was trying to find it for so long. It probably took me like a solid hour to find those stupid scissors. And if I had like the Y, if I knew about the Y, it would have been so much easier. And I was so frustrated. And that's the thing. Like I will admit, I used a walkthrough.
I ended up 2 as well.
But I didn't do it. So I did it the way that I wanted to. And then I eventually got to the walkthrough because if you just want the achievements, because it is a short game, they have walkthroughs that you save at certain points and you really only have to do like one like through run. So they do make it a lot easier if you do just want the achievements. Which I didn't do that. But yeah, there were some things that just like, for instance, like you have to make a dress. I didn't realize I had to pick the dress up.
It's literally sitting on the ground.
I know, but I'm not observant. And I was like, wait, but they said like they gave it to me. Like I don't get it. And then I saw a walkthrough and I was like, oh, it's right there.
Oh my God.
No, there's a couple where like there was definitely a few points where I got a little bit stuck and I looked it up. It was not picking up the dress.
No.
One of them was when I had to repeat that song. I was like, I could figure this out. Like I know what the puzzle is. I
Yeah.
just don't feel like taking the time.
I figured it out. It took way too long.
Yeah, I gave it probably 4 or 5 good tries and it's like, I know the answer. I just don't want to sit here and figure out how to do it with 5 more attempts. So I just flew through that one. But there's a couple others that like the magician assistant stuff, like I kind of got stuck, but yeah, no, I picked up the dress. That one didn't stump me.
See, when I've said this before on the podcast, but when I was a kid, I wanted so bad to be a detective. And then I play a game like this, and I'm just like, there'd be a lot of murderers free.
Yeah.
Murderers are like, sweet, I got Liz.
Liz is on the case. I'm going to do some more murdering now.
It's always the husband.
That's all you're going to keep saying. The husband did it. Wow, thanks, babe. I just realized that.
Something happens to me, it's always the husband.
No, but yeah, so I got stuck a little bit. This is generally why I'm not a big fan of point-and-click adventure games. Like, they generally are so, like, obscure as to, like, the solution to some puzzles. Like, oh, you need to put the cheese in the window and it creates a ghost. Like, something you really can't figure out. It's just, like, really obscure. And unfortunately, I think this game gets a little bit like that. At first, I thought it was very easy and accessible. It wasn't until you got to the main city, and I progressed a little bit in the main city, and then it was just, there was just one moment I was stuck in. And then, I was like, I can't be bothered with this. This is just taking too long. I really want to play more of this game, but I don't know where to go. So another little pro tip here, when you are in the main city, the museum is a very big hint. When you see all those paintings, that museum is going to give you the solution to like a good 4 or 5 puzzles. But yeah, so like, unfortunately, that's the only thing I think that kind of stinks with the gameplay is that it gets a little bit tough. But as Keith said, this game is very short. So once you do get stuck, you can just kind of do the like playthrough and just kind of quickly knock out the few puzzles you probably have left. But I kind of want to ask you guys, did you guys have a particular like art location that you loved?
I don't think one in particular stood out, no. I thought they all were just, I don't know, they were kind of cool and fitting, but none that really stood out, I would say.
I mean, I know we talked about it, but yeah, I really didn't like the crucifixion area.
Yeah,
Yes,
I didn't like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't think of anything that, I was like overly wowed with. It just all was what it was. And I thought I mean, everything was different. Nothing was the same. So that was cool. We complain about that with a lot of games with a variety of characters and everything. Everyone was unique in their own weird little way. And so that was a cool feature to it. And I don't know, it was like paper cutouts of Renaissance paintings. So as far as graphics are concerned, it's kind of a hard game to rate.
Oh my gosh. No, but I loved. So for me, like what just made the art extra, like just awesome is kind of like we were talking about when you put your cursor over things, the guy gives a description of like what he thinks it is. And to me, those are the funniest things. Like in one of the torture areas, there's literally this little person that's like hitting
It's
a
a
stick.
gnome,
It's
isn't it?
it's called a metronome. That's what he calls it, is a metronome, and I think that's hilarious. Or another one of the scenes, there's a group of men playing on with horns and trumpets, and he literally titles them "Horny Men." And I like the humor of it. It's just so funny. Every time I saw "Horny Men," it just made me laugh.
I kind of thought it was weird. The girl with the pearl earring.
Yep.
I thought her kind of story arc, if you'll call it, was kind of weird.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like she was almost kind of like just there, but she kind of looked like a creeper.
And then she gets like taken away on like a sled, and I think your character's like, that was a weird thing that just happened.
Yeah, and then I didn't like when the sheep guy, like he has a book, and you give him the sheep. If
Yeah.
you kill him, that grossed me out.
I don't know.
Stabbing someone in the throat, like or the
No,
face, wherever it was. Ugh.
I get your point, and Andrew had said, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to play this around like younger children, obviously, because I don't know, even artful nudity. I don't know, if you don't want to expose your children to that, then I would recommend don't play this around them. And the violence the same, and it's graphic, but it's not, because again, it's like, to me, it reminds me of like South Park type of like gore. It's ultimately all just a bunch of paper cutouts, so it doesn't feel that gross. I don't like the thought of someone stabbing me in the neck or stabbing anyone in the neck, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't bother me, the gore in this game at all.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad because I really don't like gore in movies, TV, video games. I just don't like it. But I will say, I thought like the part where you're dissolving the head, like the maggots are eating it or something. I thought that was like the devil thing that came in.
Oh, with
I
the
was just
face on his butt.
Yeah, I was like, this story is just going wild.
It is.
Yeah, it gets weird. That did make me laugh amongst just about everything else in the game.
But yeah, graphically, I don't remember like a specific place that I liked. For me, it was more about the characters. And I said earlier, I really liked the two guys at the gate, but I didn't really have a favorite.
I thought the magician character was always funny, how he always had a little boy on a leash, and you just constantly keep asking him questions about the little boy. He just keeps dodging the question.
Oh, the two naked guys wrestling?
Oh,
They,
Like, what
those
was
two
that?
cracked me up from the very beginning. That was like one of the earliest things I laughed about. Well, no, it wasn't the earliest thing I laughed about. Just so good though.
And you
The other
just
thing-
didn't want to interrupt it? Like, I mean, you don't want to know what happened? Why that started?
the other thing I laughed at, I created a video and put it on our Gay Pass Club, was me just constantly spanking the bishop. You just like who?
Wow.
Like this game just thinks of that. The bishop's just sitting there worshiping a guy, and I'm just sitting there spanking his butt. It's like this is the most.
Well,
weird
there's
thing.
also, because when you're playing it, there's kind of like a church pedophilia joke where they're like, oh yeah, we want all these jewels and a kid. And I
Yeah,
was
the
just like-
cardinal wants
A supple
a
little
little
boy.
boy with
Yeah.
rosy cheeks and a pert little butt.
And I was just like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I don't think I want to bring you this little boy, but he's also just being dragged around on a leash. So I don't know what's really the worst situation for this little boy.
Andrew,
I'm not going to be the one to make that call.
You told me there was a different story with that though, or were you joking?
Yeah. Oh no. If you keep talking to the cardinal explains why he wants the little boy, and it's because he tries to go this whole long story of how he had a son, but he ignored his son, and now his son's a grown adult, and he feels bad that he wasn't there for the son's childhood, so he wants to start over with a new boy and raise him as
See,
his father.
I didn't keep talking to him, so they're already making fun of Jesus. I assumed they were making fun of the Catholic Church.
I'm sure they kind of were, but I mean,
Yeah.
they also like make fun of it too at the end because they're like, man, I can't believe you just kidnapped a little boy.
Yeah.
That's another small, just like funny thing about this game, and I think they kind of make jokes out, but they don't at the same time acknowledge it at all. It's like the little boy. You're just like, all right, I'm gonna take you with me, and you just like kind of put him in your pocket, I guess. So you just have a pocket with like a little boy or a giant, a guy strapped to a giant wheel. You just carry those things around because you can.
So like, as much as I loved absolutely the art style, because for me the art style definitely is like what sold me in this game. Like seeing the trailer is just so striking that's just made me so curious to the Procession to Calvary. But playing the game, I love the music. So there's like a good 20 different like scenes you kind of go throughout, and every single one has a unique classical music. There's always some sort of band or musician in the like background or in the area that you can interact with. Your character can actually applaud them. I always made sure I applaud the band every time because I always thought that animation was kind of funny.
Especially the horny man.
The horny men, oh yeah. I gave them so many applause. But I'm a sucker for classical music. I used to hate it as a kid because my dad played it all the time, and it just put me to sleep. But like now as an adult, as we said in the Forza Horizon episode, it's like classical music's pretty good. It fits such a mood and a tone, and it nails it with this game.
Yeah, I think there was some points where maybe if I like kept going back to an area a little much, I was like, okay, it gets a little draining, but really not, because again, the length of the time in this game isn't enough that anything you get sick of. But I agree with you. I wouldn't call myself a fan of classical music by any means, but I don't dislike it to the point where it fit the game, obviously. And yeah, I didn't dislike it at all. I thought it was a really nice touch.
I liked it, and it changed just enough that I was like, oh yeah, there's new music playing. I feel like when I actually remember the music and recognize it's changing, that's when I know that I like the music. So for me, I definitely did enjoy it. It wasn't my favorite classical music, but I did recognize some of it.
No, but I think it was perfect because all of them, I think Andrew, this is maybe what Andrew is saying, I don't know, but like the songs that were selected always fit the mood of the area you're in. And so whether or not it was like, oh, this is, a classical song I really like, it was always perfect. And like, didn't it start out with not the 1812 overture, but the very first song wasn't even like a Renaissance classic song, I don't think. The one where the battle's over in the very first scene.
Either you already know way more than I do about classical music. I just know what I like. I don't know what any of it's called.
But yeah, I think that one was actually like beyond what those paintings were, but it still fit so perfectly as like an end of battle song, like the war's over and everything.
Yeah.
So it was good. And honestly, all of the sound effects for the most part that do exist are all fine and well, except for the screaming. That gets to be just a little much. But outside of that, everything is like pretty fitting, I think, in terms of what the sound effects are, and they're kind of goofy and just they don't take away from anything, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think it fits so well with this game, and I loved it. But another thing that fits really well with this game is the achievements. This game is 100% for achievement hunters.
I got all of them, guys.
Yeah, all of us got 1,000. It's super easy, and as Keith said, yeah, main story you're looking at like 2.5 hours, and once you look at the achievements and how to do them, you can just breeze through this game and just get all the achievements. So this is 100% for achievement hunters. But the achievements too, it fed them to you pretty well, that like it kept you going. And then like the ones you kind of need to do, because there's a couple you kind of need to do some special things. Like one's obviously like slaughter everyone.
Kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Oh yeah. Which I actually did that one like right away.
Really?
Yeah. Cause I was playing with Keith and I was like, oh, I found a way to kill myself.
Yeah. I didn't do that. And then I had to like restart my game to do it, which it takes 5 minutes, if that, to do. So it wasn't a big deal, but I was like, crap, I beat the game. I guess I have to just start a new one to do this.
Yeah, I did it by accident because I was wandering around and I saw like it was an interaction at the end of the clip. So I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. And my character says, well, goodbye, world. It just like jumps off and achievement popped.
Did you guys enjoy like replaying the game? Because for me, when I did the first one, there was a certain point where I was like, oh, you can't go back. And I was like, crap. So for me, like I felt like going through it 2 or 3 times, that's like all I wanted to do, because it is a short game. So I feel like at that point it gets repetitive.
No, I agree. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to go through it too much, like I did say like 12 minutes. Because what I figured out was because I tried to murder someone quickly enough that I learned that saving the game was important then. And so I like kind of kept saving my game along the way. So when I got to a point, I'm pretty sure 2 of the endings split. So I was like, I was close enough. I just saved it there, went back to my load, and then just kind of redid the ending is all I did.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you, Liz. I didn't want to play too much more by the end. I at least enjoyed going and see the different endings because I enjoyed the game's writing and the humor so much that I was like, I want to see what happens. And then, I think every ending was well worth it. Like you said, though, the crucifixion ending, though, if you screaming.
I was like, is it ever going to end?
I know.
Yeah.
I think that was clearly the way the game is trying to punish you.
Yeah.
For murdering everyone.
For doing what your character is supposed to do.
But yeah, to me, it's just, I had a lot of fun just kind of replaying it because, yeah, once you know what you're doing, you can just quickly breeze through everything. But that is a quick tip. If you are playing the game legitimately, before you get to the final area, as Keith said, save. Because there is like, you will have to completely replay the game again if you don't save right then.
Yeah, and it's not terrible if you have to, because again, it's quick and you'll breeze through it knowing what you need to do. But if you don't want to have to do that, definitely save.
So I guess getting into our final thoughts here. But so for me, the Procession to Calvary, to me was just this was a funny game. Like I was smiling and laughing majority of the time. Nothing that was like making me crack up loud that I like wasn't breathing. But the entire time I was just enjoying it. I really didn't want to look through a walkthrough because I really wanted to figure it out. But to me, the puzzles got a little bit hard near the end. Once you had to like figure out that you had to like lure a skunk like 3 panels away, that I was like, no way I'm ever gonna figure this out.
And then you can unlure it too, so then you have to go back and entice him again.
Yeah, so like some of the puzzles get a little out there and kind of hard to figure out. But overall, though, I thought the whole experience to the Procession of Calvary is just so much fun. I love the art style. I love that they just take these classic Renaissance paintings and just poke fun of them, and the humor is just really funny. The overall story was just okay. Like that wasn't driving me. For me, it was just the dialogue that was going on. So I think I'm gonna give it a solid 80.
Dang, I feel like I'm gonna way overscore this game. I guess I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about it. There was a few tiny little things. Yeah, the screaming voices were a bit annoying, and I think that's really about it. I think what I think most about this game is that I wish there was more to play to it, but I am glad it didn't overstay its welcome. Like I didn't want this game to just be longer for the sake of being longer, but I would have liked to have had more. I think some more of those areas, a few more puzzles, some more of the humor. It absolutely could have been, it would have been completely fine, but it didn't need any of that either. And that's what I think I loved so much about it. I don't know, top to bottom, I love this. If there's anyone on Game Pass, even if you're not a point and click fan, I would say play this game because it's short and it's fun and it's funny and it's not all that difficult. So I have to give it a 90.
I went into this thinking I'm going to give an 80, but I feel like we've talked my score up.
Ooh,
and
nice.
I think I'm going to give it an 84.
I wish
sure.
I said
The lowest?
81.
I was like
It's an
83, and then I was like, that's so close to 80. I guess I'll give it an 84. Looking at Metacritic, nobody's had much to say so far. TBD for our Xbox One. Series X isn't even there yet. And the two critics both gave it 80.
wow.
So, yeah.
I was really hoping the Turd Burglar did a
Wouldn't
review on
that
it.
be nice?
I know. I feel like he
mean-
would have used turd so many times in this one.
I can only imagine how angry he'd be that classic French paintings were butchered the way they were.
I feel like it's hard to score because I don't know another game like it. Art style wise, it's hard.
I think the only thing you can really compare it to is point and click adventures otherwise,
Yeah.
honestly. But yeah, I think that's why I loved it. I don't normally like point and click adventures, but like I had no problem with this at all.
So we have 2 listener reviews here. Javier from Nerd Talk Plus said, this game is great and super funny. The writing is spot on and the humor, while not everyone's cup of tea, is hilarious. And the art style is pretty amazing to keeping your eyes looking for the next Renaissance era reference. I give it 90 big keys out of 100. And then our other listener, Curtis, he just said it is a delightful romp through the accurate retelling of the Renaissance period or something thereabouts. And that's pretty spot on.
I love it.
I think that's going to do it for us this week. This is probably one of our shortest episodes we've ever done. But thank you all so much for joining us. If you have any game recommendations, please email us. Please email us at gamebasscribeback@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at GBGBpod. And like I said at the beginning, please go to our Facebook where we'll post the games we're playing. We would love to hear reviews. We'll read it on this podcast. I've been your hardcore gamers, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952.
I've been Keith, and wasn't it kind of weird how Andrew started the episode and like didn't do our intros before he talked about Facebook? I figured he'd do Facebook after that. But anywho, have a good night.
Yeah, if we have a new listener, they're gonna hate us. Be like, ugh. But I'm Liz Noob Gamertag coming up to you on my Twitter. I Liz Noob DW.
You know, because like
Oh,
last
and here
week,
comes the
Keith-
defense.
Yes.
No,
Here comes the defense. I'm not gonna let you have the last word, you jerk.
I did not mean to just put it at the beginning, like before you even did our intros. I figured we'd do a normal intro and be like, hey, before I start talking about the game and after I introduce this podcast that you may or may not have ever listened to. But hey, nope, we're going to go right to Facebook. Anyway.
So if you remember last week, Keith, when I was trying to do it, I suck. Okay, so we've been doing this podcast now for over 2 years, and I have such a flow. And every time I try to deviate from the flow, everything crumbles. So I tried doing it last week where I'm like, this is the game we're playing. Go to our Facebook. Wait, what are we doing again? And like I had to delete it because I'm like, this sounds awful. So that's why I was like, screw it. I'm just going to make it simple. Say it at the beginning.
This is officially our worst outro.
Well, you started this, Keith.
Good night, everybody.
All right, everyone. Love you all. We'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.